Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything going on in the world of sports. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go.
Instead of looking deep inside, every word I have to say, keep it simple.
Welcome to an all-new edition of the ODPH podcast. What is happening, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us this week. My name is Ken M. Joining me in studio, as always, you know him. He's the co-host. He's a statistician to the stars. He's a man of 1,008 aliases. His name is Padawan J.
Well, let me talk to you.
And boy, we have a lot to talk about in the land of sports, even though this is the fusion edition of the show, because we're combining the sports and entertainment elements. Sports is really taking over this time of year. Because Hollywood is gearing up for July, and that's going to be the big movie releases going on. So you're still going to have a little shot of that for this episode, but primarily we're talking sports on here, but we'd like to talk a parlay of topics with you, the ODPH Society. So after the show, Pat, where does everybody go?
ODPHpodcast.com.
Right on. Check out all the social media links. Everything's updated. Everything's ready to rock and roll. So hit us up there. We hit you back. That's how we get those conversations started. Also, check out the TeePublic Store link. Check out the blogs. Check out the classifieds, which have friends of the show such as 3FM Podcast, Dragon Master Games, Nerd Initiative, and many more. The directory, Pad, how many priorities are we on?
199,127.
And your source?
Trust me, bro.
So wherever you listen to the ODPH on, first and foremost, thank you for checking us out. Leave us a review on your favorite podcatcher. It helps the algorithm of the show. That is what I'm told, so I don't argue with it. Last but certainly not least, we have a fantastic music section where you can hear such groups as Brian Wolf and the Howlers promoting his new album.
Hey.
The cover is out now.
Love it.
So I guess it's kind of a real thing. Brian's got to send us that copy so we can start playing that new music up here. But if you're in the Austin, Texas area, you can definitely go check it out. Also, check out Second Suitor, who is doing a vlog type show here in the 607.
Ooh, all right.
I'm going to see about sharing the link to it. I just saw something came across the wire concerning Tyler and what they're doing. So a very cool thing if you're in the 607. So definitely I'll be sharing that throughout the week. Tom Jolu, we speak of the 607, just came back from a fantastic showcase in town. And obviously he's got new music on the way. Floodlands. Shout out the robots. Basically, if it's anything and everything that you can find at the ODPH, including those great musicians, go download them, support them all. You can find everything at the ODPHpodcast.com website and on social media. If you're still using hashtags, use the hashtag ODPHpod. See, I am so amped up to talk about some wrestling. I'm messing up the intro, but it's okay because that's what we do here. We do it live, one take. Here we go. So, Pat, obviously, I tipped off the lead. Let's talk some pro wrestling, shall we?
Yeah, and it was a big weekend this past weekend in the WWE, first of which they had taking place at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. You had WWE Worlds collide with NXT taking on AAA with a couple of Raw and SmackDown folks showing up. But yeah, highly anticipated action, especially since it's kind of the first, it is the first cross-promotion show between WWE and another company that at least I can remember, broadcasted free over on YouTube.
Yes, setting records for the most viewed YouTube content for WWE.
Them, probably, yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of hype going into this, and rightfully so, because we've had the forbidden door get opened in pro wrestling before. Most notably and most polarizing, in my opinion,
Sure.
AEW and Impact Wrestling,
Yeah.
now known as TNA again.
Yep.
You have those moments where it can work great, and then sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen AEW work with New Japan before, so it's not like it's out of the realm of thought to work with another organization.
Right.
WWE had done it with ECW in the past, so I mean, we've had it, but to this kind of level, especially involving WWE/TKO now acquiring AAA as a property, that's a big deal. So to see them put on a showcase like this, a lot of hype was involved, and especially if you're not familiar with Lucha Libre Wrestling, this was a great way to walk into it.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So let's break down the card.
Yeah, so the first match on the card was the six-man tag team match with Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana defeating the Latino World Order in Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Lince Dorado via pinfall in 14 minutes and 10 seconds. And I'm going to come out the gate right now and say it. This is match of the entire weekend.
This was phenomenal.
Oh, my God, this was incredible.
Perfect way to start the show. And especially if you are not familiar with Octagon Jr., Aerostar, who, I mean, I'm very familiar with from Lucha Underground.
Right.
And Mr. Iguana.
Oh, my God.
Which,
The most over thing in wrestling right now.
Oh, completely. It was a matter of time. If you ever heard 607 TWS back in the day, you've heard Wrestling Night Live on Nerd Initiative. You know, Rich and I have been touting about Mr. Iguana since we saw him on AAA. You know, their big showcase show. Also with Nino Hamburguesa. As soon as he comes on there, it's going to be game over, too. But this was a great way to start the show. Crowd was into it. Mr. Iguana understood the assignment because he really took advantage of the crowd. Very charismatic.
Yeah.
And really played into it and really kind of helped set the tone for the night, which I like seeing.
Right. And Octagon Jr. is supposed to be, you know, kind of the focus of this match because as we found out by the end of this match and, you know, this whole segment, ended up getting into it a little bit with Dominic Mysterio, which then led to Dominic Mysterio issuing a challenge to Octagon Jr. Like, hey, I'll see you in Money in the Bank for the belt. So Octagon Jr. clearly supposed to be, you know, the focus of this and was to a large degree. But I don't think anybody was expecting, you know, Mr. Iguana to kind of take over and become the darling of the weekend as he did.
Probably not, like going into it, unless you really follow AAA.
Right.
Then you knew there was going to be a chance, and especially with how charismatic he is, especially with the stuffed iguana.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to see it to truly understand it, but trust me, you're going to see a lot more of him. I know they already ran a vignette on Raw.
Yeah, they did.
So that is kind of crazy, but like I said,
he shows up at the Rumble. The pop is going to be insane.
Oh, lock that in. Lock that in. He's going to show up. He could be, in theory. I know we're going to try to jump a little bit here. I know they're doing the 4-way matches for Money in the Bank. Or not Money in the Bank.
King of the Ring.
Yeah, King and Queen of the Ring. I don't doubt he's the number 4 guy. I know everybody's saying Karrion Kross. There's a mystery competitor
Yeah.
in one of the matches.
In one, I think it's the men's bracket that hasn't taken place yet.
Right. I don't doubt it's him.
Could be.
I know everybody. Like, listen, I
know the popular theory is Joe Hendry.
See, I don't want to see Joe there. I want to see Karrion Kross. If I can see anybody, it should be Karrion Kross. I'm not mad about Joe Hendry because I believe in Joe Hendry. But in this situation, I'm not down in his iguana, especially that they ran a promo with him. So mark the tape now. But that's the impact that he did. Got the crowd rocking and rolling. And then where did we go from here?
Next up was the tag team match with Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice defeating Chick Tormenta and Dallas via pinfall. 9 minutes, 35 seconds. And Booker T, I'm sorry for you because you probably ended up on the couch during this match.
Yeah. This one, great match too.
Oh, yeah.
Like I say, very entertaining. Definitely Stephanie Vaquer is so over with the WWE universe.
Vaquer MVP of the weekend, I would say.
Oh, yeah. She definitely...
3 matches in 2 days.
Yeah, she stole the weekend. Like, I agree with you.
I was fully anticipating her showing up on Monday because F it, why not? And then Mercer, I was a little bit glad to see she wasn't on Monday. They gave her the night off.
Yeah, I agree too because she definitely put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it was a very cool story, like I say, seeing the match go here. Lola Vice, I thought, did okay.
Yeah.
In this, I mean, she's still very relatively new in comparison to everybody else in the match, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To being in this kind of spotlight, but she definitely she got herself into the groove. I know early it was kind of off, like timing was a little off.
Yeah, a little bit.
But got into it right away. So I thought all 4 women put on an amazing performance.
Yeah.
The commentary too, I want to definitely shout out Corey Graves and Conan.
Yes.
They were great.
Oh, fantastic.
So like I said, throughout the entire night, but really setting this one up too, and really pushing this, like I say, these were all main events in my opinion. So
next up was another 6-man tag team match with Legado del Fantasma with Santos Escobar, Angel, and Berto, defeating El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown via pinfall in 15 minutes even.
Great match.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you're going to hear that a lot considering this card, but this one definitely had the crowd into it. Not saying the other two didn't, but the crowd really got, in my opinion, really got hot for this one.
Yeah.
And it's probably because Psycho Clown is so over with the AAA audience. Pagano, you know, you take a look at everybody involved in El Higo, the Dr. Wagner Jr. I mean, like I say, this was a time that they were showing, and they were really playing into it. Like,
yes.
I don't want to say the other ones didn't have a lot of story behind it, but this one really felt like it did.
Yeah.
So that's where you get that most reaction out of the crowd. So seeing Le Gato del Fantasma, like I say, Santos Escobar, I think should be pushed more. So anytime I see him get a W, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a great match too, and I thought they really did a lot to get this going with a storyline.
Yeah, it was definitely a card that for the first time I can remember in a while Wasn't really a match on here that was like a come-down match. They
Yeah.
were all pretty high intense.
Agreed.
Next up was the fatal four-way match for the NXT North American Championship, and Ethan Page successfully defended his belt against Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix, winning via pinfall in 14 minutes and 55 seconds. This match was a very damn near close match of the weekend, but oof, holy cow, this match was insane.
I would make an argument this is 1B. Like,
Yeah.
1A, 1B. If somebody
Yeah.
said this is, I don't argue this at all. They came in and they made a point to try stealing the show, and in some people's eyes, and listen, I think they did, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They really went out to take the crown for the weekend.
Yeah.
And especially if you haven't seen Laredo Kid wrestle, he's amazing. Ray Phoenix, I know now the WWE Universe is getting familiar with him, but he's been putting in work wherever he's been.
Yep.
Javon Evans is a future world champion without question.
Good Lord.
And he's only getting better in these moments. Like, I don't think he's ready for the world title yet, but
No.
yet is the key word.
Was it him that's got that, like, he does that dive where he clears the freaking announce table?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, he does so much aerial combat stuff. It's wild.
Yeah.
And then Ethan Page, I am going to say this right now. I am not mad he retained.
No, I'm not either.
Albeit, though, I thought this would have been a perfect time to take the belt off of him.
Yeah.
But in this situation, I'm not mad about this.
Yeah, I was a little, I'm not mad. I was a little surprised just because there were rumors, you know, that he was going to be getting the call up soon.
Yeah. And
And I figured, hey, you know what? What better way to go out than one of the biggest NXT cards of the year, you know, and they didn't. So, hey, they got bigger plans. So we'll see what happens. But no, I'm not mad at all. He retained.
I wouldn't doubt, though, before we get to SummerSlam, that that's where I think Paige is going to drop the belt to Evans.
Could be.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine with.
And then the main event was a singles match for the AAA Mega Championship, in El Hijo del Vikingo defeated Chad Gable via pinfall in 22 minutes even. Oh, dear God, that Mexican destroyer.
Yeah. That was probably one of the wildest moves of the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And there was a lot because we haven't even talked about Money in the Bank.
No.
But that was insane. And I think if anything, 2 points were made here.
Mm-hmm.
If you did not understand the hype behind Vikingo, you know why there's hype behind it.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
2, Chad Gable deserves a singles title.
Agreed.
I don't care if it's the IC title. I could even make the argument for world title.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned it. If you give him a storyline, he can run with it. But when you put him in matches like this, and this is a complete contrast to Styles, he steps up in these moments, and he shows how good he is.
Yeah.
And I think that now WWE obviously trusted him enough with Vikingo in the ring to tell that story, main event, a marquee matchup for them. And I think that now, even in a loss, Gable is still over. Gable is still... Give him a belt.
He's elevated his stock in my eyes just because I've always respected the guy. I've never hated him. I've never had one of those, oh, God, it's a Chad Gable match. Time to scroll through my phone, go up and get some food. I've always, you know, respected the hell out of him and enjoyed his matches. But now I'm looking at this going, you know what? I want to see him wrestle every major luchador on that company just because there's something with his style that when he goes up against the luchadors, it's just fantastic, and I want to see more of it.
Yeah, completely. I think that probably is one of the best storyline changes for him. Mm-hmm. And I think he's really ran with it and really taken it a lot farther than anybody thought it would go. Mm-hmm. But that goes to show about how good he is with the storyline.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was only the tip of the iceberg for the weekend.
Yeah. Next up later that same night was Money in the Bank, taking place just down the road in Inglewood, California at the Intuit Dome, of course, where they had the debut episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. First match on the card was the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and winning that match was Naomi defeating Alexa Bliss, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer in 25 minutes and 15 seconds.
Right call.
I agree with that.
I mean, we said on the previous show, Naomi was arguably the best pick for this. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was a fantastic ladder match.
Yeah.
I really thought everybody went above and beyond. Mm-hmm. And I think even though how chaotic a wrestling match can get,
Yeah.
I really thought they told a very, very solid story. Even though there was a couple moments in there, I know one was involving Rhea Ripley, and the counter of the power slam she did with Roxanne Perez. I thought Perez came down on her neck.
I did too.
It was frightening.
And I noticed there were a couple moments, especially early in the match, with Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer. But I wouldn't necessarily chalk that up to, they don't get along. It's anything like Stephanie was on her third match.
Yeah.
In 24 hours?
Yeah, it's something crazy
so
like that.
If she's if she ain't at 100% on the tank, you know what? That's understandable.
Well, she just wrestled hours earlier too.
That's the thing too. So, I totally get that. But the match was great. Like you said, it was chaotic. There was a lot of points where I'm like, who the heck is going to win this? Just because you thought they were setting up for one person to climb the ladder and get the briefcase, and then they bait and switched you, and nope, not the case. But fantastic from start to finish. And of course, now we get the run for who's Naomi going to go against, because it's not exactly crystal clear who she would go for.
See, I think what she should do is just wait.
I agree with that.
I don't think that she needs to rush for cashing in right away.
It's like currently the women's Money in the Bank cash and win percentage is 100%.
Mm-hmm. And if you take a look at both champions too,
yeah,
I don't think that she needs to force herself into a storyline just yet. I do think that eventually she goes for the SmackDown champion at some point, but I think that she's going to be smart and wait on it and milk it out, because what she's been doing as a heel character is really getting over.
Got her social media stuff with against Jade Cargill. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, she's completely going all in about it, which is
she's giving Drew McIntyre a run for his money.
Oh, yeah, completely. So, and especially how deep that division is.
Yeah.
She can wait with the briefcase and cash in when nobody's looking. And I think that that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a situation almost, I don't want to say like the Damian Priest situation we just had.
Yeah.
Where everybody, he had it for so long, everybody kind of forgot. I think it's going to be purposely done.
Could be.
Like, she's going to go on a losing streak and then cash in and win.
Could be. I mean, I could also see them doing kind of like what John Moxley, then Dean Ambrose did to Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins won the belt, but he was out for that injury, came back, beat Roman, won the belt, and then held it for 2 minutes and change.
Mm-hmm.
And because Dean cashed in, Moxley cashed in on him. But in this instance, I can see Jade getting a belt and Naomi being, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
And cashing on her right then and there.
I could see that too. I wouldn't doubt. I mean, depending on who wins Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
If Jade winds up winning that and gets that title shot, I don't doubt Naomi injecting herself in that match.
Could be.
So we'll have to wait and see. But like I say, very solid women's match. I know. And the thing about these matches too, anytime the Money in the Bank match happens, it's chaotic.
Uh-huh.
You're going to have mistakes. You're going to have a lot of wild bumps.
Yeah.
You can't really say it's going to be an instant classic. But I thought for overall, they told an amazing story to start everything off.
Looking at the bracket on the article on WWE.com, Jade Cargill is in the bracket.
Yeah, I think that she winds up, if she wins that, she winds up facing Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, if she wins her matchup, which she's going up against Michin, Piper Niven, and Nia Jax.
I'm going to say she does.
Could be. And then just for transparency's sake, other side for SmackDown, you've got Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Candice LeRae. And then for the Raw side, you've got Asuka, Stephanie Vaquer, Raquel Rodriguez, and Ivy Nile. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see about that.
Next up for Money in the Bank was the impromptu match that was made hours earlier, as we alluded to, between Dominic Mysterio defending his belt against Octagon Jr. and this was for the IC Championship, and winning via pinfall in 4 minutes and 55 seconds, Dominic Mysterio.
Not mad about this at all.
I figured there'd be a little bit more to it, especially considering how many AAA wrestlers were there at ringside. I'm not saying AAA was going to invade and help cost Dominic Mysterio the belt, but considering how much was made at Worlds Collide and Dominic getting involved and how many guys wanted to go after, I figured there'd be at least maybe 1, 2 who tried to get involved and cost him the match and ultimately fail, but I'm not mad about it.
No, I thought they wanted to feature somebody from AAA on the main card.
Good choice to who they picked.
Great pick. I think if it was Mr. Iguana, the place would have gone crazy if he did not win. Mm-hmm. So I think it was a smart move on their call not to interject him in that. Mm-hmm. But this one, like I say, it told a solid story. It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew Dominic wasn't going to lose.
Yeah.
So just to make it entertaining and being the quote unquote break match. Like, you need a match like this to come down after the Money in the Bank match. So they couldn't have done any better.
Next up was the singles match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship, the last chance match, if you will. This was the one where if Becky Lynch lost, she wouldn't be able to challenge for the title again as long as Lyra was champion. And if Lyra lost, she had to raise Becky Lynch's hand in the middle of the ring. Well, in winning via pinfall in 15 minutes and 20 seconds was Becky Lynch to become your new Women's Intercontinental Championship. Those of you who were surprised, raise your hands at home. Mm-hmm. Okay, I see no hands.
Exactly. No, probably the most predictable match of the weekend. And that's not a bad thing to say. I mean, Lyra's had a great run as IC champ.
Crowd's getting more and more behind her.
Yeah, I mean, she's finally getting the
her
bird
entrance,
bird call over, which is what she should be doing.
Yeah.
Albeit, though, for this, Becky had to come in, get a belt. It builds up the heel persona. I don't think Lyra looked bad in this loss.
No.
I think that, obviously, she's still going to be contending for that mid-card title, but she also has time to work on her character. And I think that's literally the only thing holding her back.
The crowd is getting more behind her, like I said, because when you look back at when she first came onto the main roster, it was the reaction you never want to see if you're coming out for the first time on a wrestling show. Crickets. You know, it wasn't a whole lot, but more and more, crowd's getting behind it. You know, and now, like you said, she's got a chance to work on it, got a chance to build. She's going to be working with somebody because, as you saw by the end of this match, where yes, you know, Lyra did reluctantly raise her arm, but Becky kept egging her on, like, no. You raised my arm. We got to do it all four corners.
Yeah.
So did it all four corners. And no, you're not done. Now you got to put it around my belt. Now you got to put it around my waist. And Lyra finally had enough and goes, you know what? Screw this.
Yeah.
And just started attacking her. So clearly this ain't going to be over and done with. So now she gets a chance to work on things, build some things, and gets to work with someone she's got, at least in my opinion, has a great repertoire with in the ring.
Yeah, I think definitely this is nothing but a big bucket of win. Albeit, though, Bayley coming in on Monday night.
Yeah, that does throw a slight monkey wrench in things.
It does, but it makes sense for Becky because I think you want to keep Becky away from the world title. I don't think that it makes a lot of sense to put her around that right now.
No, especially since she's going to be part-time from what the reports are saying.
Right. So having her do a program with Bayley, because Bayley is someone like almost in the Kevin Owens style.
Yeah.
You can plug and play and she'll make the best of the storyline. I think putting those two in a program, that works. That's an instant back and forth.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it also gives Lyra some time to really develop and see. Maybe I wouldn't doubt that she tries running a little heel gimmick.
Could be.
At this as well. But we'll have to kind of wait to see. But I thought solid match for what it was. A couple missteps here and there, but overall did the great thing in the storyline. The story at the end is what really sold us.
Only thing I really didn't like, and this is just me nitpicking, was the bit after the match was over. If it dragged on just a little too long.
Well, that's the whole thing because Becky wanted to go extra heel.
I know. Next up was the men's Money in the Bank ladder match with Seth Rollins defeating Andrade, El Grande Americano, L.A. Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa in 33 minutes and 35 seconds to become a two-time men's Money in the Bank ladder match winner.
Well, this went the only way I think it could have gone. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know there was some talk that maybe Solo Sikoa was going to win.
I could have seen it until Jacob Fatu came out.
Yeah.
I hate you, Solo.
Yeah, well, we finally got the payoff there because the breaking of that bloodline foundation has been coming.
Or whatever you want to call them.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, we've been seeing it now, but with Jeff Cobb is it JC Mateo?
JC Mateo.
I need to remember that. Still there, and then depending on what the injury status of Tama Tonga coming back, like I say, they'll be able to regroup and do some stuff there. I could see the match have gone there, but I think at the end of the day, they have to give it to Seth Rollins because if Seth is going to be in charge of the most dominant faction on Raw, he needs the world title. Mm-hmm. So this made a lot of sense. Albeit, though, I know that the internet was losing their mind a little bit that LA Knight did not cash in again. Mm-hmm. Pat, I'll be very honest with you. Do you think, I don't think he's ready for the world title at this stage. Do you?
No, he's definitely on the cusp.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely a guy that if I had to rank, you know, wrestlers from 1 to whatever the number would be for how many male wrestlers are, whether you want to do SmackDown or the whole main roster, he's definitely in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
But I'm not ready to put him in that like Roman, Seth, Gunther, Cody like level of like he's almost there. You know, when he comes out, I'm paying attention. I get real excited when I hear his theme music hits. He cuts a hell of a promo. He's great in the ring, but it's just, you know what? He needs that one storyline that can really sell it and really get me on board of like, okay, now I want to see, you know, him with a title belt run, because thus far, sorry, the Logan Paul thing was fun. It didn't really push it over the edge for me though.
Right. I mean, I think that that's something that he just seems like he's just an arm's length away.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like the yes movement. Everybody tried forcing that in. It wasn't as organic per se as like the Daniel Bryan yes movement. And I think when he got in some of those big matches, I don't think he had the best performances. Now, am I saying he's awful? No, absolutely not. But I think he needs that right storyline to get in here. But I think for as much as people were complaining about him not winning, and it's like, oh, it's the third time, it's not to say it was a lock for him to get in this match anyway. But I think that now you can definitely play around with his character, maybe get him that finally the storyline to get him over.
Sure.
But I think him chasing is a lot better than him having the belt, because we saw when he was U.S. champion, the run wasn't memorable.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I say, I don't have a lot of answers for why. Because, I mean, his catchphrase is over. Mic work is great. In-ring stuff. Yeah. I mean, I think he's solid.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think
the thing a lot of people are afraid of, and I can understand this from a certain perspective, is they look at guys, you know, like an AJ Styles, like a Shinsuke Nakamura, like a Finn Balor, that fans love them. They get real excited anytime they come out to the ring. But Finn Balor's held the belt once in his entire main roster career, and that was for all of 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, he's had tag team title reigns that were fine, and he's won the IC belt and all that like that are fine, but you know, he hasn't held the belt since then. You know, you look at Shinsuke Nakamura, that's held the belt, once, twice, maybe. You know, you can count on one hand the number of times, and it hadn't been very long. You know, and then you got AJ Styles that he had a couple of runs and they were pretty good, you know, especially, you know, when it was the face that ran the place. But how many years ago was that now? Yeah. You know, so I think that's just where people are coming from, that they look at his age, because I looked up, he's 42 years old. He's on the latter half of his career. And I think for some folks, they're just afraid of, you know what? I want to see him get the belt at least once and have that memory, rather than sit there and be, well, what could have been? Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get it at some point. Oh, I agree. But I think for the amount of people that were losing their mind about it during this, I thought, like, pause. He is in the King of the Ring tournament. Oh, yeah, he's going to be in that, near above mid-card status. He's got a mountain to climb in his match, because it's him, Randy Orton, Aleister Black, and Carmelo Hayes. Yeah. That's a mountain. That is definitely a mountain. But I don't know him winning. I mean, that's one thing. I think he's going to go in there. I think this would be a perfect time if they're going to do it with him to get him up there. But then again, it just depends if he wants to face John Cena. Right. Or John Cena wants to face him, rather, on that farewell tour. So, right. Well, that's the thing we should mention with this King and Queen of the Ring tournament, is that whoever wins this, they don't get to choose who they're facing. They are facing the champion of their brand. Yeah. So if a SmackDown winner gets it, they're going up against John Cena. If a Raw wrestler gets it, well, they're going up against their title holder. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. But I think for this match, like, it told a great story. Yeah. You saw the two big feuding factions get in the ring. As you alluded to, Jacob Fatu turned on Solo Sikoa. What is it? Rollins brought out Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Dear God, the fucking spear Braun Breaker threw. Oh my God. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah. It's terrifying. Yeah, it really is. But to see what these six did in the ring, and especially, I mean, this was a little Avengers Endgame, if you will. A little bit. But I didn't mind. It's what it needed to be. And at the end of the day, Seth Rollins now has a briefcase with a lot of opportunity behind it. And mercifully, Jon Moxley not anywhere near him to steal it away. Yes. Or unfortunately. That we know of. Yeah, true. Next up was the main event, and this was the tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defeating John Cena and Logan Paul via pinfall in 23 minutes and 45 seconds. A better match than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And listen, give the devil his due. Logan Paul stepped up for the occasion. Albeit, though, the one time that he did misfire was on the buckshot lariat. Yeah. Which it happens. Yeah. I know some people were losing their minds about that and trying to rip into him too much. It's like, no, that happens all the time. That's why I really don't think the move is that great. No. But I think overall they did enough to tell a solid story. Yeah. You had a little friction between Paul and Cena at the end. Yeah. And then we get the moment of the weekend. Oh, baby. So toward the latter half of the match, the ref is outside the ring. Cena grabs hold of his title and goes and hits Cody with it, I believe it was. Yep. And he's standing there and he's gallivanting and he's, taunting Cody and yelling at him. And then a hooded figure pops up behind Cena. And I got to admit, I don't know why, but in the moment I went, oh my God, it's Punk. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. For some reason I thought it was CM Punk. But then that person hits Cena. Cena drops, and the person's standing over John Cena, and they take off the hood, and they had a ski cap or something on their head, and they pull that off. And who is it? One R-Truth.
Yes.
Or Ron Killings.
The most beloved member of the WWE roster who we heard was not getting his contract renewed.
According to him.
Mm-hmm. Showed up at the pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. The place lost their mind as they rightfully should have.
Oh, yeah.
And now he is the catalyst for why John Cena lost and made it very well known he is no longer R-Truth. He is Ron Killings.
He is Ron Killings.
So this was a moment that had the internet buzzing. This is one that obviously going into Monday night.
It's had the internet buzzing since Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're still buzzing.
Really carried weight.
Overly buzzing, in my opinion.
Well, I think in this situation for how beloved he is and knowing what happened, and even though at the press conference, which I'm just going to make this statement once about it.
Okay.
I know it was asked to Triple H about this at the press conference, and he said, he kind of, to paraphrase a little bit, it's all part of the show. At the end of the day, somebody has their job back. That's the only thing that matters concerning this.
I need to say a couple things just because, listen, I'm glad he's back.
Yes.
When I found out on social media, whatever day it was, that they weren't renewing his contract, I was devastated. Not necessarily to the point I'm in tears, but I'm like, oh man, that really sucks. Like I wasn't thrilled about it, but I'm like, hey, you know what? There's not much I can do about it. So I give credit to everyone who was chanting at, the shows on Raw and SmackDown and whatnot that made the noise and really brought attention to the fact that, they wanted him back because let's get this out of the way. This wasn't storyline.
Right.
This wasn't them going, oh, hey, yuck, yuck, yuck. He was gone, but now we brought him back because it wouldn't have been, like a week removed from when he made the post. It would have been, I think it would have been longer if it was storyline.
Yeah.
But to the folks on the internet that have been overanalyzing this and debating, whether it's storyline or whether it's real or just take a step back, go outside, take a deep breath, get some fresh air because he's back. At this point, what does it matter if it's story, if it's real? We're getting to the point where there were folks who found out his son's Instagram handle, went to his son's Instagram page, and were like, oh, look, it wasn't storyline. He posted this thing on his Instagram story. That's just getting out of hand and out of control. Like, listen, don't care what the son says, what the son thinks. He's entitled to his opinion. But am I going to go out of the way, figuring out who every wrestler who gets released family member is so that I can look at their social media? No, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah.
But listen, he's back. Let's be happy about it. It's a moment in time that I think we'll remember for quite a while, and I'm just happy for him.
Exactly. That's one thing it takes away. I mean, that's a perfect way to cap off the evening because now we go to Monday Night Raw.
I will say I am interested with where Truth is going just because just the promo and some of the stuff he's said. I'm interested to see where this goes because he made it clear he's not R-Truth anymore. He's Ron Killings.
Yes.
But some of this stuff I'm interested to see where it goes, and I'll just leave it at that. Whether I'm right, I'll mention it later. If I'm wrong, you'll never hear from me.
Yeah. But that's where we just got to kind of look at it, and especially Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
We came out not sure what we're going to have. Kind of to speed through that, obviously R-Truth, a.k.a. Ron Killings, addressed the crowd.
Yep.
Cut his hair during the match.
Yeah, that was wild. Holy cow.
But I think you really want to solidify that he's going to be a different persona. It's almost going to be like a Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're going to see different personas pop up. And I think for anybody that doesn't know about when he was the Truth, Ron Killings, former NWA champion, I think you're going to see a little more serious tone to him.
Yeah.
And I think that was going to work. I mean, not saying he's going to run it back with Cena. I mean, he could.
Listen, he could.
I don't know if that's going to be the natural trajectory for it, but if they did, I wouldn't be mad about it. But at the end of the day, he's still running with this and seeing where they're going. They got 3 new shirts out for him.
Yeah.
So He's going to make a lot of noise there. As for Cena, we do know his next opponent has been locked in.
Best in the world, CM Punk.
Yeah, so they're going to be facing off against each other at Night of Champions.
They almost had me for 30 seconds where they're like, I'm challenging you to a match tonight. And they paused long enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no shot they give this away on free television.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you'll get your match. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But not tonight.
No, not tonight, but they definitely have it set up, which, I mean, Cena's announced he's 19 days left.
Yeah.
And then he's gone.
Yeah.
So definitely going to be interesting to see where he goes from there. But
It's a countdown I don't like. Normally I like countdowns. I don't like this countdown.
yeah, no, this one definitely, depending on how he wants to close his chapter out, that's going to be
5 out of 10. Not a fan.
Yeah. But then the biggest takeaway from Monday Night Raw,
Oh, Lord, yeah.
the internet lost their minds as, I mean, you can make an argument either way for,
Sure.
but main event Jey Uso is no longer your world champion.
I mean, listen, as soon as they came out of commercial or cut from whatever they were showing, because I can't remember now what it was, and he was getting ready in the entryway to do his entrance and his son was there, kind of obvious to me which way it was going to go, because they don't typically bring out the kids or family members for good reasons.
Yeah.
At least not historically.
Not usually, but the rematch from WrestleMania went down with an new, very good match.
Yeah, it was good.
Very good.
Yeah.
But Gunther is now back as being world champion.
The ring general is back.
Yeah, Jey Uso is titleless, which I know it seemed a little early for. See, I thought when Seth Rollins won, he would cash in. And then you could have a storyline where Jey chases after him.
I thought he was going to cash in last night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They were going to do it after the match.
Right.
But he didn't retain. So that threw a big curveball into the mix.
Sure.
And now the allegedlys, and we'll say allegedly because we don't know for fact.
Okay.
We do know that Goldberg has rumored a last match coming up for Saturday night's main event in Georgia.
Some point.
It could be against Gunther. I know that was rumored quite heavily. Now with him being the world champion.
It's been rumored for a couple of years now.
You're right. He's been wanting to do that. I think they both have been wanting to do this for some reason. So I think we're going to get that at Saturday night's main event, which is fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a new. I don't want to see Goldberg back as champion.
Yeah, there's really no reason for it.
No, and I think if you want to give him a proper send-off and do it with the belt on the line, sure. I get it. But I don't think he should win it by any means. Or if he does, this is when the Seth does the cash-in. Like, it's just, you shouldn't have to do anything like this.
Yeah.
But that's the big takeaway. And then for Jey Uso, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
That's the only thing, because him being champion for only 50 days does feel short. And for whatever reason, I mean, I don't think the Yeet movement was over just yet. And I only think they should have changed it if it was going to go to Rollins.
Right.
But now that it's not, where do you go with him from here?
I would say give him a run for the IC belt again, just because I know he had that previously, but he had that for like a cup of tea.
Right.
And then they hot shotted him from there right into the main event, the main title.
See, it's tough to go, though, back immediately from world title to IC.
Sure.
See, that's where you got to have a program where he's going after a Seth Rollins or your next top heel on the roster.
Yeah.
Or, dare I say, you do a trade and send him to SmackDown. Then you could play around with that a little bit.
Allegedly, the draft is coming up, although I've been hearing that for like 9 months.
Right, so I wouldn't put a lot of stock into that. But you do have some storyline opportunities to go with if you want to send him to SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think on Raw, it's a little more tougher. But it's not out of the realm of thought. But I think as far as him, unless he's going to go back and chase after Gunther, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's going to be the big question mark happening there.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen in the land of pro wrestling. I think we covered everything for the most part.
I do believe so, yeah.
I mean, I know Nikki Bella came back setting up a feud with Liv Morgan.
That's for Evolution.
But yeah, it's all building for Evolution.
Yeah.
I know there's rumored of a few matches that have allegedly got leaked out, but I don't want to say anything until I see NXT.
Okay.
Tonight as we record. So when I have a little more confirmation of that, I can always retweet it. But in the meantime, though, hit us up on the hashtag ODPH Pod. Gave you a lot to decipher about from Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. So give us your takes on that. And what about Monday Night Raw?
Just one thing we almost forgot. Get well soon, Zoe Stark.
Yes.
Because she posted a video and confirmed her injury. It is an ACL, MCL, and a meniscus tear.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Just, get well soon. Get back in the ring. You know, we always like seeing her wrestle. She is someone that I think is vastly underrated.
Agreed.
So definitely get well soon to her. And then hit us up on the talk for wrestling. If you even want more wrestling talk, Wrestling Night Live every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Nerd Initiative. That all said, we're going to get a quick breakout. We'll be right back.
You ever wondered what comics Mark from Vale Mai is into? What Zach from Left Behind's favorite MCU movies are? Well, Metalcore Nerds is the show for you. My name is Sean Mott, and here at Metalcore Nerds, we cover the latest things in pop culture, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, DC, AEW, and everything else in between. You can listen to the show every Monday on Adobe Howl at 7 p.m. Eastern, or find it anywhere you find podcasts after it debuts on the radio station.
The content you are listening to is part of the Nerd Initiative Podcast Network. For more info about the home of pop culture positivity, check out nerdinitiative.com.
Coming back for another segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast, and there was a UFC card.
Yeah, there was.
That we knew there were some storylines going into. Was a lot happening last week, but we definitely have to deep dive into the action that was going down, Pat. So let's talk some UFC, shall we?
Yeah, so this was UFC 316 taking place at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, with an announced attendance of 17,343 folks watching live in person. And we're going to talk about the main card. And the first match on the main card was a welterweight matchup where Kevin Holland defeated Vicente Luque with a Barbaro choke submission at 1 minute and 3 seconds of the second round.
I am more in shock that Kevin Holland, like anytime everybody counts him out, he finds a way to pull it off.
This is true.
I mean, obviously, he is somebody that no matter what, when they call him, he will show up and show out.
Uh-huh.
No question about that. But to see him pull this off, huge.
Yeah.
Huge win for him. Very curious to see where we go from here, because he was almost on the verge of being cut, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, well, and I'm looking at UFC.com/rankings. He is now freshly ranked in the welterweight division at the number 14 position.
yeah, like he's been teetering around being released. So the fact he put this on, like I say, I was very shocked to see. But let's see where he gets rolling. Like I say, when he shows up and he can implement his game plan, he's good. But
he is now on a 2-fight winning streak.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Keep the dice rolling.
Yeah. Next up was a bantamweight matchup where Mario Batista defeated Patchy Mix via unanimous decision. 2 judges scoring the contest, 30-27, and the third judge scoring the contest, 29-28.
Okay, so this one, a very big letdown for Patchy Mix.
To say the least.
Yeah, because it came in with a ton of hype.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's one of those situations where you're a big fish in a small pond, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then you come over to the big dance, and I don't want to say it's UFC jitters, as they say, or octagon jitters.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's something that I think the moment got in his head too much.
Could be.
Because he's coming in 20-1.
20-1. The only career professional loss he had was to a gentleman named Juan Archuleta that he lost via unanimous decision at Bellator 246 in September of 2020.
Yeah. So I think when he just showed in for this, bad performance, especially with the hype behind him.
I mean, and this is him coming into this fight having beaten back-to-back Magomedov with a split decision win. That was in the Bellator Champions Series 2. That was back in May of last year. And then he got a rear naked choke submission win on Sergio Pettis back in Bellator 301 in November of 2023.
Yeah.
Those ain't bad wins. Those are pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, obviously he'll get another shot back at it, but he's got to have a star-making performance. If he doesn't do it, I don't know where we go from here.
Yeah, but on the other side, you got Mario Batista, bantamweight division. Let me pull up. Where is that division? Let me pull up that. Where is that division? There they are. He is now the number 9 ranked fighter, and I'm looking at his record. Dude's got a hell of a run going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights in a row he's won. Beat the Patchy Mix, as I alluded to. Beat Jose Aldo via split decision. Beat Ricky Simone via unanimous decision. Unanimous decision win also against Damon Blackshear. Beat Guido Caninetti with a rear naked choke submission. Beat Benito Lopez with a reverse triangle armbar. Say that 5 times fast. Then he beat Brian Kelleher with a rear naked choke submission. Beat Jay Perrin with a unanimous decision win. His last loss was a TKO loss to Trevin Jones at UFC 259 in March of 2021.
Oof.
Yeah. Dude's got a record of 16-2. His only other loss was to Corey Sandhagen in his UFC debut at a UFC Fight Night in January of 2019.
Well, we'll have to wait to see how it plays out from here.
Next up on the card was a middleweight division where Joe Pfeiffer defeated Kelvin Gastelum. Unanimous decision win. One judge scored the contest 29-28. The other one scoring the contest 29-27. And the third judge scoring the contest 30-27.
Yeah, this is not a good fight.
I'll say.
I don't like. It was just bad from the start.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're gonna have something like this happen.
Sometimes you take a flyer and it's great. Other
Yeah.
times you take a flyer and it's not good.
No, so this one I don't even want to break down. Like, this is just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just bad. It's tough to say because I remember Kelvin Gastelum from the Ultimate Fighter days
Yeah.
was a name, had promise, and then just, I mean, unfortunately, just hasn't gone his way. And
33 years old guy. He's not up there in age, but you know what? He's on the other side of 30. So
yeah, that's the whole thing, and especially
it's not a good loss. That's for sure.
No, definitely not a good loss for him. So, like I say, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know where anybody goes from that fight. I just need to cleanse the palate, so to speak, because
They stay put.
Yeah.
They don't move up. They don't move down.
that was a rough one.
Yeah, to say the least. Co-main event of the evening was the women's bantamweight division. This was for the women's bantamweight championship, where you had Kayla Harrison defeat Juliana Pena with a Kimura submission at 4 minutes and 55 seconds of the second round. We should note Pena was deducted 1 point in the first round due to an illegal upkick.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Well, we knew Kayla Harrison coming into this was wanting to put on a performance. Obviously, the weight cut, if you have seen the pictures, oh my God. Like,
I've seen the photo.
it's
Yikes.
frightening.
That you want to take one thing out of the mixed martial arts, make it that one.
Yeah,
Please.
I was going to say, doing an extreme weight cut like that, at least that's how it came across on camera. Bad. Just bad. I'm glad she's healthy, though.
Yes.
But still, this is a situation that I don't want to say Pena had no chance in, because she always did. I mean, obviously, she's pulled off some upsets in her career, most notably against Amanda Nunes.
True.
But this was a situation that Harrison knew what was at stake and really implemented her will.
Yeah.
And this was a situation that Pena, I think, just got dominated. To put it mildly, I think this was just something that Harrison's on a different level.
Yeah.
When it comes to the grappling.
Yeah.
And I think that now there's only one fight you do now.
Okay.
It's Amanda Nunes. And
Yeah.
Nunes came in the cage. She's ready to come back.
Yeah.
It will be arguably the biggest women's MMA fight of the year when they book
You
it.
can make that argument.
No, I don't see anything else coming close to it. I think, and I mean, there's great fighters in many divisions in the UFC.
True.
But I think literally Amanda Nunes coming in to face Kayla Harrison with the history that both of them have on their resumes. You're not going to have a better women's MMA fight than this. This is up there with the Cyborg Nunes, sequel that we never got. This is up there with, Ronda, and Misha Tate way back in the day. Like this is up there. This is box office.
Saying Amanda Nunes, the legend killer. You don't believe me? Valentina Shevchenko. Yeah, she beat her. Misha Tate. Yep. Ronda Rousey. Yep. Raquel Pennington. You betcha. Chris Cyborg. Holly Holm. Felicia Spencer. Yep. Like, you go down through the list of her record, it's a who's who of who she's beaten.
Yeah.
Flip side, got Kayla Harrison. 20 professional matches, 19 wins, only one loss. That loss to Larissa Pacheco. That was at PFL 10 in November of 2022. That was a unanimous decision loss. But since she's come into the UFC, unanimous decision win against Aspen Ladd. Rear naked choke submission win against Holly Holm. The unanimous decision win against Ketlin Vieira. And now this Kimura submission win against Juliana Pena.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say?
Give it to me. Give it to me now.
Yeah, like I say.
In the words of one Philip J. Fry from Futurama, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, this is box office. This will headline whatever card it's on.
Yeah.
I can't see
it should.
Yeah, I was going to say this should not be a co-main by any means. This should be the main. Pedigree stands up for itself. This is going to be box office. I can't wait to see it. It's just a matter of when and where.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of if. So give it to me.
And then you've got the main event, which was for the UFC Bantamweight Championship. You had Merab Dvalishvili defending his belt against Sean O'Malley and winning via north-south choke submission at 4 minutes and 42 seconds of the third round. Why did this matchup happen?
Reasons. I mean, honestly, it felt like this. I mean, Sean O'Malley, he is a fighter that has a hype train behind him.
True.
He is charismatic. I will give you that.
Sure.
But Mirab is just a different kind of fighter.
He's an animal.
He
and
is
I
somebody,
mean that in the most nice way possible.
Yeah, he is somebody that legitimately has been waiting for this moment. And granted, I admire the loyalty he showed to his camp because he wouldn't fight Aljamain Sterling when Aljamain was in this division.
Right.
And he stayed loyal to his team. He fought everybody else but the champion at the time until it wasn't Aljamain's turn. So this one, I mean, he did what I thought he was going to do. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, O'Malley's got striking. That's pretty much all he has.
Pretty much.
I don't really say he has a great ground game. And in comparison to Mirab, I don't think there's not a comparison there.
Right.
I think it was just a matter of Mirab was waiting for the right moment and having that champion poise. So I think when we have that plays a big factor.
Oh, yeah.
So now the question is, where does everybody go from here? I think the easy bet for Mirab is Corey Sandhagen.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense. I'm not sure where Sandhagen is ranked. I know he's near the top.
4.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
So your current UFC.com/rankings, you've got Mirab is the champion. Number 1 ranked fighter, Sean O'Malley. Number 2, Umar Nurmagomedov. Jumping up 1 spot. Number 3, Peter Yan. Dropping 1 spot. 4 is Corey Sandhagen. 5 is Song Yadong. 6 is Devison Figueiredo. 7 is Marlon Vera. 8 is Rob Font. 9 is Mario Batista. And 10 is Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, I mean, Yan, I would say Yan would make sense too, but Yan has a fight, I believe, next month. So I don't think that they would leapfrog that just to get him a title shot.
Right.
If he wins that, though, I will say he will fight whoever's champion.
Yeah.
So I'm not even questioning that. So that will be a very, very interesting fight if they run it back with him and Mirab. So I'm kind of hoping that happens, but Sandhagen makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
I think he's somebody that he's freed up. He's ready to go now. I know there was a little back and forth, respectful back and forth between them at the show. So listen,
Peter Yan did tweet out, Mirab, let's go, with the punching fist emoji.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's ready to do it too, but he shouldn't look past. I believe he's got Marcus McGee lined up on the 26th.
It also looks
July.
like Peter Yan did do an interview with Submission Radio on YouTube. It's a SB Nation account where he did propose a title eliminator with Corey Sandhagen in July. Quote, if Corey wants to fight, we can do a rematch with him. Same time July in Abu Dhabi, I can give him a rematch and we will know who deserves the title fight.
I mean, I don't think Mirab wants to wait around that long. But,
probably not.
But if he did and they want to run that, sure. I think Sandhagen has to be in the conversation, though. That's the big thing. If he's not going to get the title shot, he needs the number 1 contender bout for it, and just let him go. But I think they're going to do that fight. That makes a lot of sense on paper to do.
Yeah.
As for Sean O'Malley, I don't even know. This is going to sound very odd, but hear me out. What is his record? He's lost past 3 or 2?
He's 22 professional matches, record of 18 wins, 3 losses, 1 no contest, 2 fight losing streak. He lost back-to-back fights against Mirab. Lost this one by submission. Lost the previous one, which was his next fight, or previous fight. That was in September of 2024. Prior to that was on a 1-2-3 fight winning streak, beating Marlon Vera, Aljamain Sterling, and Peter Yan. The no contest came before those 3 wins. That was the Pedro Munoz. That was the accidental eye poke.
Okay.
That was in July of 2022. His
So-
only other loss, Marlon Vera. That was a TKO loss in August of 2020.
So I think the big problem you have here is, hear me out when I say this, he obviously is not going to be going for the belt.
Nope.
Anytime soon.
Nope.
So he has to hover around that top 5 ranking and start fighting people to get back there. But I also could see him going the Conor route.
Sure.
And taking big money fights, which he should. Like, listen, I'm never going to say a fighter shouldn't get paid, but I think in this situation, you really have to take a look at what he's doing and what makes the most sense.
Right.
I know Henry Cejudo's name has been thrown around there.
Uh-huh.
I think that fight would make sense, even though I think it would be very bad for O'Malley because you're going to get into a grappling match against Cejudo.
Right.
You can't really grapple as well as you can strike. That's a problem.
Right.
So, but Cejudo's a name. So you kind of have to take a look around there and see. I just don't think there's a clear-cut answer.
I mean, I can think of a guy. He's number 2 in the rankings right now.
Oh?
Umar.
Um,
He lost to Merab. You got to do something with the guy.
True. I mean, you could make that fight happen, I guess.
Yeah.
But
It gives an opportunity for Umar to prove, hey, my loss against Merab, was a fluke.
right.
I've learned and I've improved.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the big question mark they're going to have to answer. I mean, could I see that? Sure. For some reason, I don't think they would. For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel that he's going to go for like a big money thing. Like which.
I mean, he could. It ain't going to be Conor levels. But,
No, of course not. But who else is around that division that's a name?
Yeah.
And that's what I say. Cejudo is somebody that pops up there because I believe he called him out after too. But Cejudo calls out everybody after.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I can't really keep track. So it is a bit crazy to kind of think what's happening with UFC 316 because I mean overall the fight card was okay. I don't think there was anything super crazy to write home about.
No, there wasn't really anybody going, oh my God, you have to see this. It was fine.
Yeah, it definitely was one that it didn't knock me out. No
Right.
pun intended, but it was
Right.
like maybe the Gastelum fight took me out of it. I was just
That's
like,
entirely
"Oh,"
possible.
just because you have such a stinker of a fight.
Yeah.
And it was a stinker.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else you can do about that.
Yeah, I mean, the next one I'm looking at, it's the UFC on ESPN card. That's this upcoming weekend. I mean, the co-main of that one and the main event of that one look good. Co-main is Thug Rose Namajunas and going up against Miranda Maverick for the women's flyweight.
That'll be good.
Your main event is Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley.
Ooh, big match for Buckley. If he gets past Usman, you got to put him in that title contention talk.
After that, you've got a UFC on ABC card. That is on June 21st. That is going to be early because that is over in Azerbaijan. That one has got Jamal Hill going up against Khalil Roundtree Jr. in the main event. And then after that, it is UFC 317.
17's loaded.
317, that's Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira in the main event for the lightweight championship, vacant lightweight championship. Flyweight is the co-main event. That is Alexandra Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. Then you've got Benil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Paulo Costa taking on Roman Kopylov in a middleweight division matchup. Jack Hermanson versus Gregory Rodriguez in another middleweight matchup. Johanna Dinitz versus Justin Tafa in a heavyweight matchup. And then you've got Vivian Araujo taking on Tracy Cortez in a women's flyweight matchup.
Very, very solid card top to bottom there.
Yeah.
So like I say, it's going to be a long wait till then. But we'll have to wait to see how everything plays out.
Yeah.
Before we leave on the MMA note, there is a little bit of sad news and obviously get well wishes going out to Ben Askren.
Oh, yeah?
So Brett Okamoto reporting on ESPN, quote, former MMA champion and UFC welterweight Ben Askren has been hospitalized with severe pneumonia.
Oh, jeez.
His wife posted his social media. Quote, you may have heard my husband Ben is going through something. Amy Askren wrote on Facebook, he's developed severe pneumonia, which came on suddenly. He's currently in the hospital, unable to respond to anything at this time.
Jeez.
So we were welcoming all prayers for healing and peace.
Yeah, speaking from personal experience, I had pneumonia once. It's nothing to screw around with.
No.
If you have pneumonia, go get medical help ASAP.
Yeah, so I haven't heard any updates yet concerning, but obviously on behalf of all of us here, we're hoping for a speedy and healthy recovery for him. That was posted on Saturday.
Okay.
So I've not heard any updates since.
Right.
If anybody does, please shoot us a message, hashtag ODPH pod. I haven't been able to find anything. So, but obviously, or hopefully he's on a road to speedy and healthy recovery, but that's just scary to hear about just because it came out of nowhere. And then I remember they broke this right around the fight too. It's like, oh my God.
Jeez.
So, scary times to think. So obviously positive thoughts to him, and then hit us up on the hashtag ODPH pod. Let's talk some UFC. What was your takeaways from UFC 316? Surprised Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't come through breaking some glass. I was disappointed in that.
What?
But a lot of interesting directions for the title champions to go in. So hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking. And then we're going to take one last break. We'll be right back.
This is Tom from Tom Joe Lou,
This is Matt from Sideroom Sounds.
and you're listening to ODPH Podcast.
Wanna go where no one knows my name, to the desert, the oceans, or the plains. 'Cause I wanna
Coming back for the final segment on this edition of the ODPH podcast. Pad, what you got?
Got a couple things to talk about. First of which is the local minute, and we're looking at the standings for minor league baseball in the Eastern League for the AA baseball, where our Binghamton Rumble Ponies play. Still in first place.
Let's ride.
By a lot. So they're in first place with a record of 38-18. Second place is the Hartford Yard Goats, who are the Colorado Rockies affiliate. They are 8.5 games behind the Rumble Ponies. Portland Sea Dogs come up third. They are 9 games behind the Rumble Ponies. New Hampshire Fisher Cats are in fourth place. They are 12.5 games out of first place. Somerset Patriots are next up, and they are 13 games out of first place. And then the Reading Fight Phils are in last place in the division, 17.5 games out of first place. Side note, should know anyone going up against the Somerset Patriots the next couple days, I fear for your pitchers because the Yankees' Giancarlo Stanton is starting a rehab assignment with the Somerset Patriots.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So if you're sitting in the outfield, get ready to shag some home runs. Looking at the Rumble Ponies from their series this past week, it's a shame that rehab stint didn't start a week earlier because it would have been here in Binghamton. Would have been awesome to see. The Rumble Ponies played the Somerset Patriots this past week. They had a game on Tuesday. They won by the final score of 7-3. Won the game on Wednesday 4-3. Won the game on Thursday 7-4. Lost on Friday 10-4. Won on Saturday 5-2, and then won again on Sunday by the final score of 7-4. They are on the road this week playing the Richmond Flying Squirrels. They're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. The game on Saturday is at 6:05 p.m. Eastern, and then the game on Sunday is at 1:35 p.m. Eastern. They're also on the road the next week, playing Harrisburg. They do not return home until June 24th, where they're playing the Portland Sea Dogs. So you got about 2 weeks before they make another homestand. So for more tickets, information, all that good stuff, bingrp.com. Then we're going to mention a little bit of entertainment news because there has been a little bit of entertainment news. The first of which is James Gunn, of course, head of the DC studios, along with Peter Safran, writer-director of the upcoming Superman movie, gave an exclusive update to the Entertainment Weekly on the status of a certain Amazonian from Themyscira, and that being Wonder Woman. So, according to the article on entertainmentweekly.com, the script is being right now, as we speak. So, we're going to get an update on that soon. Don't know who's going to be playing it, but we are going to be getting something, which of course we figured, going to be getting something in the form of Wonder Woman here in the not too distant future.
Well, I mean, I thought they might do something.
Okay.
I mean, granted, we're all kind of waiting to see how Superman plays out.
True.
But we do know there's been some rumblings around the DC Trinity. So that all said, it's going to be interesting to see who they cast for it. I know our Nerd Initiative chat today was kind of throwing some names out there. You have anybody jumping at you right now?
Not right now. I don't think it's going to be a big name or it's going to be anybody we necessarily are super familiar with. I think it's going to be somebody that, like, they've done some stuff, but they're still a relative unknown.
Yeah, I think so
kind
too.
of in the same way of David Cornswell. Like, yeah, he's done some stuff, but it's not necessarily anything like a household name would know.
That's what I'm thinking too. I mean, Gunn is typically going for that with the DC reset, which I think is smart. So I'm not mad about this at all.
Yeah. Then we got a little bit of Marvel casting news, and I trust this source. It's coming from the director Ryan Coogler himself, and that is Denzel Washington is set to star in Black Panther 3.
Ooh.
So, reading from the article on IGN.com, legendary actor Denzel Washington will indeed star in Marvel's upcoming Black Panther 3, director Ryan Coogler has said. The news confirms that Washington himself hinted at last year that Coogler was writing a part intended for the Training Day and Gladiator 2 actor within the upcoming Black Panther threequel, which currently does not have an official release date. Washington's potential, now confirmed involvement in Black Panther 3 previously triggered an early confirmation from Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige that the movie was indeed happening. While Black Panther 3 is yet to appear on any official Disney or Marvel production schedule, Feige acknowledged in December 2024 that it was now being planned. Speaking on the 7 p.m. Brooklyn podcast this week, Coogler said, quote, "There's no fiction out there about that," when asked to respond to Washington suggesting he would have a Black Panther 3 role. While playing a game of true or false titled F with it or F out of here, I'm adding that. Coogler said Washington's comments were a big F with it. This is the option that means they're true. Quote, "Denzel is family at this point," Coogler continued. "I've been trying to work with him since day one. I think he's the greatest living actor in terms of what he means to our culture. Forget about it, man." Close quote. So we're going to get Denzel Washington in Black Panther 3.
Listen, I'm all in on it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've not heard a lot of where they're going with it.
I don't know what role they would do either.
Well, that's the whole thing. I think that right now, with everything gearing towards Avengers Doomsday,
Right.
they're being very quiet. We do know that they're not going to be having a Marvel Studios panel at Hall H this year for San Diego Comic-Con.
Makes sense. You'd be tipping your hand.
Yeah, so everything's going to be kind of hush-hush. But to hear this news, definitely exciting news. Not sure where they're going to go with this.
Absolutely.
Speaking of not sure where to go, the NBA Finals are taking place. I'm not sure where to go watch because, quite frankly, without New York in it, I just my wind is taking on my sails.
Games have been good.
The games have been good, so we'll recap what's been going on in those because obviously Oklahoma City had a very bad game one. Deja vu struck way too close to home.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Way too close to home, but
Lord have mercy. Indiana's the luckiest team in the NBA.
break it down for us, Pat.
So Indiana won game one by the final score of 111 to 110. For your starters, every starter for Indiana was in double figures. Siakam had 19, Naismith had 10, Miles Turner had 15, Nemhard had 14, Halliburton had 14. You had Obi Toppin coming off the bench with 17. Over on the OKC side, good game for SGA. 38 points from him, 15 from Dort. Jalen Williams had 17, 6 from Carson Wallace, 6 from Chet Holmgren, 11 points off the bench from Alex Caruso. But good Lord, the luckiest you know what in the NBA history because
Seriously.
OKC led that game for like what was it, like 47 minutes and like 57 seconds or whatever the math works out to be, because Indiana took the lead with less than a second left.
Yeah.
They went down the court, pulled up a shot, and boom, went in.
It's kind of crazy to see how this plays out, but I mean, this was just I hate saying a choke job. Yeah. But that's what Oklahoma City did. I think they took him too lightly.
It's entirely possible.
I think that they came out and they really did not put the pressure on him, and especially letting Indiana get back in. This is what New York did, and it came back to haunt them in the worst possible way. However, though, Game 2, different story.
Oh, baby.
Game 2, the Thunder were embarrassed, and they played like it.
As the song says, last night took a L, then they bounced back.
Completely. So this was a great game that they came in, and especially when you take a look at that box score and how many points came off the bench.
Good Lord. Well, everybody from the bench played. There are no do not play, coach's decision or did not play, like injury. Not everybody played. So for the OKC side of things, starters. Chet Holmgren, 15. Jalen Williams, 19. SGA, 34. 3 points from Dort. Carson Wallace, 4 points. And then off the bench, you had 20 points from Alex Caruso.
He played lights out.
Aaron Wiggins had 18 himself. Good Lord. But yeah, everybody on that bench played some game time.
Well, the one thing is they rotated and they matched up and they played solid defense. Like the one thing,
123-107 win.
the one thing is, as close as this got, because Indiana did make a run at the end.
Yeah.
They made a point to shut down Obi Toppin. They kept Halliburton in check a lot of this game, and they did not let the Pacers dictate the pace. They really imposed this very tough defense, and they were getting points off turnovers. I can't remember the exact ratio it was,
Right.
but for all the turnovers that got converted into points, this was the deciding factor.
For points off of turnovers, OKC in this game, it was 17 to Indiana's 14.
Okay, so it was a lot closer at the end there.
Yeah.
Well, either way, they were getting a lot of offensive rebounds too. Like I say, they play total solid basketball. So whenever you can do this, this definitely helps matters.
Absolutely.
And this is something that Oklahoma City needed to do. Had they gone down 2-0 to Indiana,
Oh, it would have been real tough.
they were going to be in problems. And even though the games are more spaced out for this, because I know Game 3 is going to be Wednesday night.
Wednesday at 8:30. Yep.
Yeah.
Game 4 is on Friday, and then Game 3. I'm getting my numbers wrong. Game 3 is on Wednesday. Game 4 is on Friday. Game 5 is on Monday.
Yeah, they're taking some little extra time, which is fine. Like, it's just something with the finals they want to give enough time to. So either way, Game 3 has now become very much a pivotal game to steal for Oklahoma City. The Pacers need this, especially after that bad loss. They will be at home. That crowd will be very, very rambunctious for them. That's one thing.
Oh, to say the least.
They'll be going. I know that Pat McAfee, I believe, is doing a tailgate party or something in that variation.
I think his show's going to be outside the field house the day of the game, and then he's going to be doing something with them before the game.
Okay, so I know that there's something going down with that. So if you're out there in Indiana and you want to go check it out, go do it. Because like I say, there'll be a fun time to go to. I still like Oklahoma City in 5.
For what it's worth, the line currently as we record is OKC by 5.5.
Yeah,
And
especially
it's in Indiana.
that speaks volumes.
Ooh.
That speaks a lot of volumes. So we'll have to wait to see how that goes. But I think overall, the finals are definitely picking up some steam.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of the New York coaching rumors are trying to steal some thunder from it.
Sure.
I don't think we'll really see any moves until after the finals are done.
No.
But I will say this, the one that I'll just touch upon very briefly. I know that allegedly there's been some discussions about Jason Kidd, the head coach of Dallas, coming to New York.
Saw that mentioned a couple times.
I don't think they can pull it off. I would be very shocked if Dallas did. Because you have the number 1 pick
Yep.
coming, and obviously Cooper Flagg is supposed to be that. You're going to have Anthony Davis coming back, Kyrie Irving. You do have a nucleus there you can build off of and make a good run with. So why would you go and do this trade with the Knicks and give him the head coach? Because I will say this right now. If Jason Kidd does become the head coach, lock it in. Giannis is coming.
Oh, baby.
Lock it in. There will be no doubt in my mind that that's the power play. I just don't know if Dolan and company can swing it. That's the only thing.
Right.
If they can't, I'm not saying the firing of Thibodeau is still bad. I think there's a disconnect with him and the players, and I think Dolan listened to the players for once.
Could be.
So I think if that is the case, they're going to have to go get a coach. I have not heard anything about Mike Malone.
Right.
I know a name that got thrown out there, which I would be shocked, but happily shocked, is Mark Jackson.
Ooh.
That started gaining some steam a little bit too, but I just don't know how that would go. But at least I will say this: he knows how to run a bench. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But I don't expect to hear anything about this till after the playoffs. And I know that the mock drafts are coming.
Oh yeah.
Listen, we'll worry about that when that comes too. Because after Cooper, we'll have to take a deep dive to see what happens. The only thing I can guarantee you is he is going to Dallas.
Oh yeah. Unless something weird happens.
Yeah, which weird stuff does happen like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, it's sports, so you never know what's going to happen.
True.
That's like all of a sudden Edmonton forgot how to score last night in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Hey, well, they had a line brawl, though. I appreciated that.
They definitely did.
Love a good line brawl.
Well, they need something because their bench decided to take the night off, and now they're down 2-1 to Florida.
Yeah.
That's the only hockey talk I'm going to say because we are a Rangers podcast here.
No, we are, but I will say if Brad Marchand gets a title with Florida, it's going to be the weirdest thing looking back.
We actually discussed this on tonight's Turn a Page.
Oh, all right.
So Connor McCreary, who is the writer of that The Last Witch for Boom Studios, used to be a reporter for CB Nation.
Oh, okay.
So we talked heavily about hockey
Nice.
and basketball and football, along with some comic talks. If you want to go check that out, it'll be on Nerd Initiative YouTube, and it will be on the ODPH Podcast Network on Wednesday. So definitely make sure you're subscribed and you check that out. You follow it, it goes boom right to your inbox. Much like the comic talk we do each and every week on Turn a Page. But speaking of comic talk, Pat, what you picking up at the shops this week?
Recommending and picking up the 2 issues I will be reviewing for Nerd Initiative this week. The first of which is, I should say they're both Star Wars. First of which is Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch, Ghost Agents, issue number 4. This is from Michael Morrissey. You've got Reese Hannigan as the artist. The incredible Valeria Favocia is on the cover art, and the description of this is: the Stolen Republic intel sought by Clone Force 99 has switched hands. Now the data is closely guarded by none other than the fearsome bounty hunter, Aura Singh. In order to survive Aura's onslaught, Clone Force 99 must enlist an unsavory ally, a villain who would as soon stab them in the back as save them. Close quote. This is issue number 4. It's a 5-issue series. If you like Clone Wars, if you liked The Bad Batch, you will love this little series they got going on, because it feels like one of those scripts that they might have had penned for the series, Clone Wars or Bad Batch, and they just never got around to it, because it is fantastic writing. Then you've got Star Wars issue number 2 from Alex Segura. The incomparable Phil Onoto is the cover artist and the artist on this issue, so the artwork is top notch. We'll say that just as a little tease. But the description of this is: action and adventure continues in the post-Return of the Jedi era. What secret did the Nagai pilot tell Luke Skywalker? What is the crown of Verity? What tragedy awaits Luke on the winter planet Galdrim. So definitely a lot of good stuff going on in that series.
Yeah, that one definitely has got a lot of hype going on with it. I mean, it's Star Wars. What do you expect? I mean, literally, what can you expect from that? Let's see. This is a stacked week. I mean, I feel we say that quite often here at Nerd Initiative and the ODPH, but truly mean it. I mean, like Pat alluded to, Star Wars definitely rocking and rolling. There is also from Marvel. See, I gotta take a look because there's so much going on. You have the new Avengers coming out, so that is the one spiraling out of the kind of the nameplay off the movie that came out.
Oh yeah,
so new lineup there. The Death of the Silver Surfer.
Yo,
that is one that's gaining a lot of hype to it. On the DC side of things, obviously, Absolute Batman is coming, and this is one that a certain Bane is on the cover. So you know there's going to be some problems there. Also, Action Comics 1087. So this is one that I know Pat will definitely appreciate more than I think most. You're going to have a trip into the Summer of Superman, and obviously everybody's gearing up towards that.
Right.
Mark Waid is penning the Adventures of Superboy.
Okay.
So this is a lot of stuff in dealing with Smallville and Young Superman.
Yeah.
Because obviously with what's going on, the Joshua Williamson run is going crazy. The Dan Slott one, obviously the big reveal that Kryptonite is now on Earth in mass form. That's going to be taking off and doing some things. So you're seeing a lot of emphasis getting put on the Superman line, which I think is amazing. So Mark Waid obviously writing anything Superman, you know is going to be even money. One of my favorite series out right now is coming out with their midway point issue, and that's Batman Dark Patterns.
Oh, all right.
So this is one that they do the year like 1-2 range of his detective skills. Excuse me there, and they're literally 3-issue cases, and they're done. What Dan Waters and Hayden Sherman are doing here, like I'm gonna make this on record. I think this is probably the best Batman book on the block.
Oh, all right.
Of everything out right now.
All right.
Like, it stands on its own. It's amazing. If you really like that gritty crime drama, this is up your alley. Like, it's perfect. Also coming out is Robin and Batman Jason Todd #1. So this is one that I think fans are going to be talking about. I'm not sure what degree per se because it's Jason Todd, but it's dealing with, like, the year one of him and Bruce Wayne. And the dynamic there, but I really like how Jeff Lemire wrote him in this. Okay. So I think there's a lot of upside to that. Image Comics has a monster week coming out to Transformers 21, Daniel Warren Johnson, Jorge Corona. Enough said. Geiger 15 is out. Lost Fantasy 2, Free Planet. Shout out Aubrey Sitterson. So this one definitely has got some people talking, and this whole series does too. It's like it's gonna be amazing stuff happening. And then the last one on my list right here is one that, Pat, I don't even think you knew about.
Probably not.
We're going back to the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, what?
Umbrella Academy Plan B.
Okay.
So Gerard Way and Gabriel Bay are back, and reading the description, quote from Dark Horse Comics, that is, after the mass release of the city's greatest foes and chaos that followed the Hotel Oblivion, the Umbrella Academy faces their most fearsome challenge to date, their own brothers and sisters known as the Sparrows. They share a different connection to Sir Reginald Hargreaves and Mom. No one knows how to hurt each other more than family, and this powerful, ruthless brood will spare no brutality in favor of their sole objective, control, and the obedient glare that comes with it. So this is one that when it came across my way, I'm like, oh, I need to read it. And if you want to find out what I'm thinking about it, Nerd Initiative, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, nerdinitiative.com. God, I want to say 40 reviews dropping between the website and YouTube.
Good Lord.
So we start 9 a.m. on the website, move it to YouTube at noon, so you definitely want to check it out as you're heading to the comic shops because nobody is talking comics quite like Nerd Initiative. And if you want to talk more about the parlay of topics, it's odphpodcast.com because that's it for this week. So for the one and only Padawan J,
fuck the Astros.
I'm your host, Ken M. Thank you as always for listening to the ODPH podcast. We'll see you next time.
It's such waste of time swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. 'Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. and it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one sick of staring at my phone. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Don't know that I believe in the old time fable. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me, a better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Talk to me. It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. Whoa.